Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you? Hello. Welcome to today's tarot tuition. So let's just make sure I've got sound. Yeah, I think we're okay. Good morning. Have we got anybody joining us for live today? If not, we will be cracking on. I hope you're finding the content interesting when it comes to learning all about tarot. I'm wondering whether or not you're finding the worksheets helpful. It's there for you to download, and you are welcome to share them around, and do share the videos and the worksheets to anybody that you think might find them useful. So, starting off today with the Devil. The Devil is a card that works in conjunction with Capricorn, so we're back to another astrological sign. So this is all about destiny, temptation, your status, your reputation. So if we look at that, you can see there's a devil there, and he's puppeteering sort of Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve in this card actually shows us that we are moving on from what was the lovers, where lovers was mutual attraction, physically attracted to you and finding, that I want to do this. The devil implies that there's some emotional bondage now, and that's where the chains are. I'm enslaved towards you. Hello, how are you? I've got somebody joining me, so let's just say hi. Okay, so here we've got somebody on here. Hello. Lovely for you to join us. And this is Zena. I think that's how you pronounce it. So lovely. Thank you. You're very, very welcome. So what do we have? We've got a situation here where I would say to you there is a need to be more materialistic in everything, and particularly in a partnership. So there's more physical going on here and more materialistic gain going on. There's a greed, it's a greedy card. I want it, and I'm entitled. This kind of sense of allow me to do what I want to do. So it's also a highly sexual card. So, it's about our sexual needs and desires. It depends what's next to it. I do make this clear. You can't just say, oh, it's this. It's aspects of all things. But in this case, you would really want to have a look at what is going on in the other cards to work out where it is. Where has it come out? What is it next to? I've told you I work in pairs. So it's important. Good morning. Thank you very much for that. Getting some lovely thumbs up. And so please do interact here. I'm more than happy to explain anything if people have got questions, or if you are wanting to actually just say hello. It's always what it's about, isn't it? So it's a naughty card. It's a card of misbehaving. It's a card of I want to do what I want to do. So therefore, that's what I am going to do. And the devil is, it's the devilish side of all of us. When I was training in tarot class, and we were all sitting in a classroom situation at the behind of a beautiful tarot and spiritual shop that sold treasures of crystals and boxes of tarot. In that group, there were 10 of us, and every week for 2 to 3 years, there was one person in the group that always said the same thing. I don't get the devil card. I just don't get it. Please help me understand it. There's so much information there, and every week we'd kind of get stuck on this same card, going back to it over and over. Please talk amongst yourselves. Join, the group and ask questions. And what does it mean if you draw that card? Well, just on its own, it's very difficult, isn't it? So if you get another card with it, it's a court card, or whether it's a card of action like the Wand family, or maybe it's an emotional card like the Cup family. That would tell you what's going on. So the emotional bondage, you know, do you really, really want to do what you're doing? Are you doing it for gain? Are you doing it for emotional gain? It would depend on the other cards around them. This is addictions. If you play with fire, you will get your fingers burnt. So in tarot, 5 is the number in the minor cards that shows struggles. It's a midway point. So it's where we are struggling with things, where we are trying to find our way. It depends whether it's come up in the suit of swords, which is the intellect, mental state, the actions, which is the one family, the pentacle family, earthiness. You know, are you materialistically driven by the devil? So if you're looking at pentacles, you're probably looking at, yes, it's kind of being greedy in material sense. If you're looking at the emotions, could be needy, greedy emotions, wanting to enslave somebody towards you, these kind of things. If we're looking at the thought process, could be that this person has these kind of thoughts, you know, that are all about temptation and thinking it and thinking it. So it depends what you've got. And that's why I urge you to work in pairs with your minor cards so it'll make sense to you. It's a completely different way of reading cards. And even now, when I look at just single cards on their own and somebody throws a spread out, it's just like, well, I don't know what the spread is. You know, people are just showing lots and lots of cards just down on the table. And of course you can pick them out individually and know what each one is, of course. But where is that? You know, is that the past? Is that the future? I'm forgetting to say that. If you work with a pair, I think you can just look at a snapshot of what's going on. And it's very simple. Later on in advanced, I'll be teaching you a fantastic spread. And if you want to go and have a look at that, go and look on the YouTube. Hi, I'm back, everybody. I just got a message there saying my internet died for a moment. Sorry, folks, I'm getting an internet problem. Okay, let's just adjust the output and see. Okay, sorry about that. Victim of whether or not we've got enough power, but okay. We seem to be all right again. Sorry about that interruption. I will try and edit that bit out. So, what do we have? We have the fact that we're talking about our lovely old devil card. So yes, if you get something like a 5 and you've got the devil, you are certainly looking at that person being tempted in different ways with struggles. There's some amazing things I can show you, can sort of go on about the different countries that come up with tarot, who we're looking at, an aspect of that person, an aspect of somebody else, so that if somebody's inquiring about an ex or current partner or a friend or somebody at work, all of these things. So in this case, you'd be looking at, are they a Capricorn? So emotional bondage, pulling the chains of somebody else, materialism, being a little bit obsessed with that person, maybe allowing yourself to be puppeteered or controlled. And it is about addictions. We've all got addictions, you know, can be addicted to a routine, can be addicted to overthinking, you know, to, I must have a coffee. We've all got those. So it's all aspects. It's no point saying, oh, no, I don't know, it's not true of me. We've all got something. It's looking at the cards, looking for the clues that surround certain cards. But at this stage, it's nice to study a card and then pull another one next to it. I don't think you're going to get confused. I think it helps to have another card, even though you're working with, say, the major card like this of the devil. Put a few cards beside it that's minor. Let's bring in the Ace of Wands. You know, look at the Ten of Swords. Look at the Two of Cups. Whatever. You know, something that will help you. Okay. submitting to another. So when you look at this card, you've got the devil, and then you've got the two people that have been puppeteered by the devil. Who's who? When you look at this card, you're strongly drawn to the fact that it's the devil. Who is that? Is that the person you're reading for? Is that the person they're asking about? Is that an aspect of all people? It's always an aspect of the person that's having the reading, and it's also an aspect of the person that they may be inquiring about. So it can be confusing, okay? But it depends where it comes up. So if this lands in Pisces, shall we say, in the spread, and you're reading for a Pisces, it's about them. If they're asking about a Pisces, it's actually about the person they're asking about. So I'll be teaching you all of that. But for now, just get familiar with your cards and start to go, what do I see? You know, look at the horns on top of the head, look at the pentacle that's there, look at the whites of the eyes. You know, if you see a lot of white in somebody's eyes, it can actually show you an emotion, and that emotion is quite intense, possibly anger. You know, what do you feel when you see that? What colours are coming out and standing out? Look at the fire, you know, we're burning in hell. What does that mean? Look at the tail of Adam and Eve. They've got horns now, you know, and they've got this chain around their neck. But do look, that's very loose. If they want to, they could slip that off. So that is not about the fact they can't get away from this. Oh, I can't do anything about it. Oh, yes, you can. Easy enough to slip off that chain if you want to. Believing only in the physical. It's a very materialistic card. So it's like, oh, if I can't see it or touch it, I don't believe in it. It's also a card of overindulging. It's a greedy card, you know, everything to an excess. Everything. It's mine, I want it, you know. I'm here, I'm going to eat, I'm going to drink. I'm going to kind of, you know, work. It's not always negative. It could be that person emotionally gives too much or demands too much. Do you see? But it's what suit are you looking at and what's going on around those cards. Are they filled with lots of other cups in the cards, in the spread that you're using? Is it all to do with the fact that you have lots and lots of action? The One family. So all of this will tell you how it all bridges together, knits together, and it's all the clues that's in the actual spread. But mostly, I would say, work with a pair. Working with a pair, you will find out what the other card means. Okay, that will come up when we get through beginners. Beginners is just going through each card. While we're going through each card, I want to show you what we're going to be doing. You know, so that you are not going, oh, I've got to learn all these cards. If you learn a little about each card, it can be interesting. If you then study that card a little bit more, work with the worksheet, it's good. But if you actually add a few cards, say for the minors, I'm sure you'll find it more interesting. Even though I'm not saying to you, go ahead and you have to do that. I'm just saying I think you'll find it easier to bring in a minor to help you learn what the major is, believe it or not. Okay? So just divide your deck. Majors, minors. Okay? Shuffle your major, shuffle your minor. What do you get? When you draw the devil, what comes out? In the intermediate, everything would be about pairs. Everything would be about how to read a major and minor card. Not so much about spreads at all. Don't want to go there. Just want to practice 2 card readings, which is how to read the pair that you've got. Okay? So that's what we've got to look forward to going forward in the future. So I'm going to go on to our next card. Please bear with me. The internet's a little bit slow. So now the Tower, okay? And, you know, this, I'm sorry, there is something missing on this. It should say Mars, okay? So the Tower works in conjunction with Mars. And the planet Mars pushes. It's never gentle. You know, Mars is like war. Okay, look at that card. There's nothing gentle there. It's all happening very fast, like lightning. Look at the lightning. Look at the fire. Everything. It's powerful. It's action, but it's action that's fast, fast, fast. That's what that card's talking about. And people think it's unpleasant. Well, it's quite hard, you know, in tarot's old fashioned, isn't it? You know, I would also say the tarot's great because if you don't get your backside moving, believe me, the tarot will come in just to actually make sure that you're being pushed along, you know? So it's that kind of feel to it. Sorry, folks. It's definitely got a feel of moving you quickly. There's nothing gentle, there's nothing slow, there's nothing that gives you choice. It's push, push, push. Okay? So you're being pushed whether you like it or not. And perhaps if there's always a feeling that it's got to this stage because you could have done something, or now it's necessary for change. It can be a sudden release of things. You know, things happen so quickly, boom, done it for you. You know, you're in a terrible situation. Maybe it's a bad job, bad friendship, relationship, and something comes along and says, cracking, you know, that's all been sorted for you. That person's took action. You know, you've been fired, or they've made you redundant, or, you know, they're not going to give you that job, or something that you wanted, and it looks very negative at the time. But in actual fact, it can be a complete release of a situation, perhaps like being enslaved like the devil, you know. It's revelation, it's very sudden change, unexpected, you know. Nothing about this is planned. Routine's been shaken up, chaos everywhere, and anger sometimes, or letting go, you know, just suddenly going, you know, shattered. You know, it's just happened. It's absolute chaos. But it can also be a card of implying that things are speeding up, okay, and maybe influenced by things, planets, timing, others, interventions that perhaps are not coming from you, unless it comes up, of course, in your position. So in the spread, it would come up in the physical, as in the emotions, in the intellect, in the spiritual advice, or in the position of the self, or in the position of your star sign. So, for example, the fourth house, where you would be Cancerian, like me, and in that comes, and it's like it's me that's causing that. Or that could come up in my physical position. So I'll be showing you very easily how to do that. And you can, you know, can make a little mat, as in to follow. Great believer in, you know, working with flow charts or key points or little maps. People will forgive you for looking at your notes, especially if you're actually practicing. And, you know, on this platform, what do you to post? I got this card and this card. What do you think? Don't overload it. You know, if you're practicing with lots of cards, it's a bit difficult for somebody to look at 20 cards and go through them all and type out what it means. Just a couple, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If they're pairs, even better, because that will help you. So letting go, you can see it's like you had to let go. You're free falling in that picture, and everything in that is an action card. Sometimes it's good to look. Do you see movement? And if you see movement, does it make you think that that's what they're thinking, they're feeling? And in this card, it actually feels like it's happening. So action. All right. So that's what I would say. This one. People always get scared. Oh my gosh, it means this, that, and the other. Why? You know, disruption and change happens every day. The crises of things happens quite often. Things shaken up, left, right, and centre. You know, we have to get on with it. It's time for change, and the significance of release or sudden change. Yeah, it can be a bumpy ride. It can be unprepared, but there's probably been plenty of warning before it got to this point. You know, you could look for the clues in the past position in your spread. So not to worry, we're not here to judge. We all turn around and go, "Ooh, put it off, you know, I don't feel like it," or "I knew this was coming, it's no real surprise, you know, I'm angry with myself," or it's not fair, and I didn't want this at all. But it might be that something better is coming along for you. Quite often that is the case. Okay, so, oh, we've got somebody else here. Hello. I'm just going to say hi. Oh, right. Hello. Welcome along. Ask any questions if you want to. I know it's good to actually know that you have the whole sort of lesson, and you're probably busy trying to follow along, which is great. But do pop in and say hello. Someone else here joining us saying good morning. Hello. Thank you so much. It's lovely that you're joining us. And let's see. Okay, so there's lots and lots going on here. Okay, and I'm now, seeing as we've got no questions, going to move on to our next card. So just bear with me for a moment. Take that away. There we go. Right. Look at this one, the Star card. So the Star card, beautiful card. This is a card of Aquarius. Okay, so put that in your notes. All right. Hope, inspiration, generosity, the regaining of hope, faith in the future, counting your blessings, seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, looking forward to success. Lovely card. Giving back what you've received, everything in moderation and balance. You know, this is why you've got this lady, one foot firmly in the water, and the rest of her signifying that she's in a safe place of land. So one foot on land, one foot in water, as it were. Mixing and blending, pouring in, out, the balance, you know, the structure of everything. But the Star card's such a great healing card. It's looking forwards to the success, wishing upon a star. Think of it like that. It's a big, big wish card. And it's about giving back what you've received. Great peace of mind here, and an amazing healing card as well. So it's seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, you know, you're looking up at the stars and you're wishing, and it's like, okay, you know what, I'm wishing this in, this is a big healing time for me, this is where we're going, and this is what's happening to me. So the Star card, very much a card attached to Aquarius, and think of any Aquarius people that you know. What are they like? You know, what do they enjoy? What are their hobbies? How do they behave? Are they emotional people? Are they people that are very friendly? Are they people that it's hard to get to know? They've got a brick wall. Are they quirky? Are they fun? Are they unique? Are they eclectic? All these kind of things that kind of come up with Aquarius. Why? Because, you know, it is very much a whole mixture of what's going on with the Star card, because it's connected to Aquarius. So it's a big card of hope, but it's also a big healing card. You know, the Star card actually offers healing. I always look at the Star card as well, as in because it works in conjunction with Aquarius, and that is that Aquarius is attached to one's politics and community, and it kind of brings in the things that go on, and people say, oh, I'm not interested in politics. Politics goes on around us everywhere, doesn't it? It's whether or not it's the swings in the park, it's to do with the street lamps, it's everything in your community, everything in your neighbourhood, everything that goes on that affects you, you know, whether they collect the rubbish, these kind of things. And it's like, of course it affects you. You know, you might not be political, but there are certain things that are going on in one's life where you would look at this card and go, it may have, you know, some aspect of the neighbourhood. Recently, you know, it's important to mention also that the Star card is very much about online, okay? It connects to online because it's your social media. So the Star card is very much about social life, because it's connected with Aquarius. So social life, as in, is not just the aspects of what you do in person. Your social life is very much connected with the internet. So if you are looking at whether or not correspondence and communication, have a look at the star card. What's going on there? You know, if you're looking to see if somebody's going to make contact, have you got any communication cards such as page of wands? You know, is Gemini anywhere nearby? You know, as the lovers or as the magician? Because Gemini is all about communication. So there's all these things that you can actually kind of put things together, especially if you work with a pair. It will give you the clue in the actual minor card. So this is a really lovely card. It's got faith, it's got hope, it's got peace of mind. It's also about giving and taking, you know, and also having it come back in return to you. Looking forward to great successes and inspirations and being able to see clearly. So it's kind of a healing going on here. And in the journey, as people talk about with the tarot cards, you know, you start off with the Fool and then you work your way along. Nothing happens in order, but it's kind of like, you know, it's lessons in life, isn't it? Everything has a beginning, everything has a middle, everything has a completion. And along the way, we can be tempted like the devil, and along the way, we can have our community give us faith and hope like the star card. So don't be too technical about it, but just as in sometimes people do want to know the theories of everything and how it all works. So this is what I say to you on the star card. So bringing me now into the next of our major cards, the Moon. Wow. So the Moon works in conjunction with Pisces. Sorry, I'd like you to make a note of that, all right? There is fears and illusions, imagination. So this is very much about one's feelings, the depth of one's feelings. It's about your dreams. It's about your deep, deep emotions. And if we look at the Moon, it will amplify your emotions. The Moon is a magnet. It draws upon the tides, and because we are made of water, it does have an impact on us. So when you see the Moon card coming up in a card, it's talking about deep emotions that are probably amplified in a very huge way. I would say sometimes they're amplified because the pull towards the emotions, sorry about my computer making a noise, the push towards emotions become overwhelming. Sometimes they can be a warning, you know, why am I being emotional? Oh gosh, you know, my intuition's telling me something's not right, you know, something's a bit off with a friend, or gosh, I was kind of getting this feeling of fear towards going into work tomorrow or dealing with somebody, you know, who's a friend. There's all sorts of things that it can be. But I would also say that it can amplify in a way that it does need to be full on, otherwise you wouldn't be taking any notice. But sometimes that can actually be so intense that it knocks you sideways. And if it's going to knock you sideways, I feel that what you need to do is just kind of analyse, write it down. Are you getting any intense dreams? What's the feelings that are affecting you at this stage? All these kind of things, just so you kind of go, right, and is this me, or am I picking up on someone else? Your intuition could actually be you're picking up somebody else very intensely, you know. Don't be surprised if you're connected with somebody that you tune into them, you know, especially if they are kind of reaching out to the universe and wanting you to be there for them in some way, shape, or form, you see. So sometimes you can be getting all of their stuff. A good way to check is have a look at holding a stone, you know, the pebble that I talk about. Sorry, you disappeared there for a moment. Okay, so talking about holding this will help you because it picks up our energy. It's earth. All right. So if you just grab yourself a worry stone or a pebble or whatever you want to call it, hold on to that and it'll pick up anything that doesn't belong to you or anything that needs to actually be cleared, because we're picking up energy all day long. And then rebalance. By rebalancing, you can do that with a crystal. Somebody's saying good morning. I'm just going to have a sip of coffee. Right, good morning. Hello, how are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you. I know that this is probably a tricky time for people, but let me know when is a good time. It's good to start the week with getting your tarot together so that you can go forwards, isn't it? You know, you're able to actually have your notes, your video. If you're not able to join in, no matter. I do hope that everybody can hear me very clearly. Yeah, looks as if everything's okay. Good morning to those that's watching. You're very, very welcome. So I'm actually saying to you that the moon can amplify everything. So very emotional, okay? And the depth of the emotions will be coming up. Look at the card and see the crayfish, you know, coming out of the water there. That's the emotions coming out, out, out. And the water is the emotion, okay? Put my stone down. The water is the emotions, and the moon is drawing on that. Hello, good, yes, you can. Fantastic, thank you so much. Somebody's telling me they can actually, they can hear us okay. It's just that we got an interruption in the internet connection, so it's going to happen, isn't it? Sorry about that, folks. We just carried on as soon as, I think it's in about 30 seconds delay. So, when the moon's around you in a reading, we can be fearful, we can be illusional, we can be delusional as well. Our imagination can go crazy. We can be very fearful, which means we're lacking courage. We can become overcome by our own anxieties, you know, round and round and round, you know, can't let go of it, can't let go of it. Or like the crayfish coming out of the water, the emotions are going to come up and it's going to be deep and it's going to be intense, like Scorpio, the depth, the intensity, and the howling of the moon telling you that the moon's affecting all creatures, pulling on all of us, making us look at our dreams, making us look at, you know, our protection. The moon is there to light the way for you, but it's also there to kind of give you that kind of, look, I'm telling you to be a little bit sort of on the ball, you know, what is it around you that you need to kind of pay attention to? And so it can distort things for us. We can be too amplified in looking at how we're feeling and our anxieties. But it's kind of like a fight or flight syndrome. It's a warning there. Pay attention. Don't just go, oh, I feel a bit rubbish. I'll take no notice. You know, I'm feeling a bit emotional today. I'll just ignore it. And sometimes you really do need to look at what it is that you're being told. And if you are feeling like that, well, look at why. Is it you? Is it them? Don't get drawn into it too heavily, you know, but don't ignore it either. Okay? It's there for a reason. It's not there to make you miserable, but it's not there for no reason either. Pay attention. Look at your other cards to see what you are getting. It tells you, oh gosh, you know, someone had thoughts and feelings on something. I've let go of that. Or, you know, I need to actually grieve for that. Sometimes we need to grieve. You know, we don't give ourselves enough time to do these things. So it's important, okay? Sorry, it's my aircon going on and off. It's very hot here, so I do have to say I couldn't possibly sit here for the amount of time to do this and not have some aircon on. It's just a bit noisy. Okay, so wandering aimlessly, you know, don't know what to do, not doing anything, just feeling, you know. unrealistic expectations, you know, unwanted thoughts going round and round, or I want this, I won't be happy until I get this, or whatever it is. You can have vivid dreams or visions, you know, when you see this card, pay attention. Just kind of go, oh gosh, that wasn't very nice, but what was it trying to tell me? And instead of going into dreams, are people, I interpret dreams for people. If you want reading with me, you're very welcome. I can always look at these things for you, you know. I've put the link on here for you. I am available for personal readings. Just book it on anmarietarot.com on my website. There's the link. All the links are there on your worksheet, and, you know, Facebook groups, the Instagram. Please do like and share. The one thing I ask for giving my time to you, although I'm passionate about doing this, I do have a full-time job. So therefore, you know, it takes an awful lot for me to pull away and make this content for you. Your support of, you know, subscribing to my YouTube channel is very important to me. You can always buy me a cup of coffee, or I've even got a link of an Amazon wish list if, you know, you'd like to support me with a deck of cards. So no matter, but your support with YouTube is hugely important to me. Of course, I'd love to read for you personally. There's the link. And, you know, if you want to support me, as in to keep making these videos, the odd cup of coffee, or, you know, the wish list on Amazon with tarot decks, I'd love it. So thank you so much. Back to this. Unrealistic expectations, vivid dreams. Your dreams, write them down. Sometimes the dream can be so full of information, and we get caught up in it was this person in the dream, and, you know, and they did this and I did that. Quite often, those people in the dreams are not what it's about at all. It's your subconscious talking to you, but they're giving you very subconscious symbology. And the symbology is the bits that you're not paying attention to. You know, it's like people saying, oh, you know, and I have my brother and I've not seen him for years, and then this person came in, and then we got on the bus, and, you know, and then we went here and then we went there, and gosh, I meant to tell you I was naked. And it's like, that's the bit that's important. Oh, well, I haven't seen my brother. What's the message about him? It's not. It's telling you you're vulnerable around that person. You're naked. You're vulnerable around that person. Yes, it's the naked bit that's important. The people in that could be the key players to tell you, your family members. That's the telling you perhaps a little bit about people that are close to you. Might not be that person. It's saying somebody close, family members, just mean people that are close to you. So sometimes it's much more than you actually think it is, or much more simple, you know. So yeah, we could always talk about that. That's what tarot talk's all about. Everything. It's not just strictly tarot. It's our intuition. Okay. So open to fantasy. You know, fantasizing about things that may never be, not being involved in the present, always looking into what one's expecting or wanting. Somebody that's very easily distracted or disorientated, and somebody that can be outlandish and bizarre. But there is always a depth with the moon, and there is always a cycle. So one doesn't get stuck with the moon. Not that it's a horrible card, but it can be uncomfortable because you are kind of feeling a little bit, you know, outlandish, or a little bit distracted, or a little bit sort of bizarre. But as I said to you, it's like fight or flight. And it's whether you fight, whether you flee. Don't ignore it, but don't become preoccupied with the moon, because if your imagination is pushing and trying to tell you something, paying attention to it is what it's about. Wallowing in it, or being caught up in it, what good's that? You need to plan. You know, everything has a navigation point. It's how you choose to be, or where you're at. You know, we can all be tired, we can all be fed up, we can all be kind of like, I want to give up, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, it makes me feel unhappy. Or maybe so. Maybe you need to make time and find out, do you need to rearrange something with that person or this project that you're doing that's making you feel like this? Is it coming up that you're scared of it because it's time to complete, come to the end of a cycle with it, to change, or to confront, or to re-navigate? It's usually about re-navigation. Getting caught up and overwhelmed in it can feel like that. But, if you pray or you ask for guidance or you ask the universe to support you, or indeed you talk to somebody, or I'm a great believer in writing things down. And that's writing a message or a letter to the universe. And what I tend to do is just a plain A4 piece of paper. Write everything down. And on one piece of paper, plain piece of paper, everything that's bothering you, negative if you like, or bad, or whatever you want to call it. And on the opposite, everything that is, and then on another piece of paper, I beg your pardon, everything that's the opposite, everything that's good, everything that makes you happy, everything that makes you feel joyful, all the good, all the benefit, people, you, great things, things to be thankful for. You might go, I can't think of anything. Come on, you're alive, Every day I say thank you, thank you, thank you. I've just had my birthday this weekend. What a great privilege to get older, A lot of people, don't have that privilege to actually have life. We have to grab it and say thank you. I'm healthy and I'm well and I'm happy. Give thanks. So we can get caught up in the moon and forget the basics. So it's important that you are able to balance, because it can be a time when you're very disconnected from people and they can't help and reach you because you're kind of like disorientated in your fears, in your illusions, in your imagination, in your lack of courage, in your anxieties. But it's there for a reason, but you're not meant to kind of go into it and suffer. You're meant to pay attention, allow it to roll over you, and work with it so that you are able to highlight and navigate into the next part. So it's a great card, really, even though it's something that makes people go, ooh, it's all a bit surreal, it's all a bit psychedelic. It is. But everything is in a cycle and everything's there for a reason. And the moon can also be great. You can get some fantastic symbology. I've had a lot of dreams where I've written them down and kind of gone, right, okay, I know what it's telling me. The symbology in that is X, Y, and Z. What do I need to do? The symbology told me I need action. I need to be less emotional, as always. And I need to be less passionate and less intense. And I need to get my backside moving and make it happen. And so, that's the way, and it's easy to get caught up in all of the negative sort of side of it. It's actually not negative. It's there to actually say it's forewarned, forearmed. Really, pay attention and navigate. You've got a choice. Right. Until next time, everybody. Thank you so much. Well, and I don't know who you are, morning, and yes, and all these lovely people that's come along here. Thank you very, very much indeed for joining me. Please do always interact if you want to ask a question. I know it's a time of just taking it all in. Download the worksheets, they are there for you. And until next time, I wish you a pleasant week, and I'll see you next week. Same time, same place for more tarot talk and tuition. Till then, bye-bye.